Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Dan from DHTV, and today we're considering the best applications you can use for your iPhone to edit your photos. Let's get started. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at LD or Lens Distortions. Now, if you've missed any of the previous videos where we took a look at some of the other applications that you can use to edit, there's a link in the description to the full series so you can download all of them for free and use them for yourself. Now, when you first open Lens Distortions, it's going to take you to a page like this. You may be prompted to allow access to your camera roll. You want to hit OK, and that way you'll be able to access your camera roll photos and edit them with this application. So we'll go ahead and tap on this photo right here. It's got some texture, it's got some color, so it's a great photo for editing. Now, when it comes to this application, it's a little bit different than your traditional editing application. Basically, this one here is going to allow you to add features, or distortions as they call it, to your photo. So you're not necessarily editing the photo, you're kind of adding to it. To give you an example of this, we're going to open up Principal Light Hits. So we'll hit the arrow, and you can see it's kind of giving us lens flare designs. Now if we tap on any of them, for this example we'll tap on that one, it'll go ahead and add the lens flare. Now that we've added this lens flare, we can move it around anywhere we'd like. We can zoom in and out to make it larger or smaller. And we have a whole bunch of features at the bottom that we can play around with. So to quickly give you an example here, let's say we wanted to put this at the bottom. Now all the flare and these little circular items that we want are at the bottom. We're kind of losing them. So we can swipe all the way to the end and flip this vertically and flip it horizontally. And now those lens flares are at the top, so we can actually play around with them and move them a little bit closer and see them better. At the same time, you have softness, which will soften the look. We have color, so if you want to change the color of the flare, you can. We have saturation, and you can see that it does change that as well. We can change the contrast, so if you want to change that, it kind of gives it a little bit more of a pop. And then we have brightness and opacity. So brightness, again, just going to add to the contrast that we just changed. And the opacity, if you want to kind of make it a little bit less dramatic, you can pull that down and almost make it behind the scene kind of thing. So if it was back here, you can barely see it behind the duct. So you can play around with this and use it the way you'd like. Now, Principal Light Hits is just one of the features you can use. You can also use light hits. Now, this one here is very similar, but it's going to give you less of that lens flare activity that you had. So if we just tap on this one, you'll see how this one will look. We'll tap on the orange one, this one here. And again, you can move these around, zoom in and out. This one here is almost like a controlled filter, the way it's played out. So if we wanted this to be at the bottom, we could pull it down. We can change the opacity a little bit so it's not so excessive, and then we can also soften it a little bit here and give it a little bit softer look. But what I like is that you can already take an edited photo that you may have used in another application, pull it into this one, and then add these effects to the photo after. So you can really change your photos and really make them look good. Moving down, we have fog, and this is going to add somewhat of a fog overlay to it. So let's just go ahead and hit this one here. You can see it's kind of fogged up the bottom, and that actually looks really nice at the bottom, but you can pull it up anywhere you want. If you wanted the fog to come from the top, but it didn't look the way you wanted, if you flip it vertically, we'll pull it down. Now you've got that fog almost coming from the top. You can blur it even more, and that's basically what the fog is. So if you really blur it out, it's going to be less effective as a fog, but it looks really good like this. Kind of actually does look nice. And you can change the color, so if you wanted it to be a colored fog, you can do so as well. And pretty much all the same features you had with the other abilities. Just to show you a couple more of these fog designs, this one here is kind of cool as well. It's almost the full screen, and you can zoom it in, zoom it out. So if you just wanted like a patch in the corner, you could do that. Now below fog, we have some shimmers. Now if we tap on that, we have a few here. It's hard to see, but there's actually 5 of them. So you can tap here, you'll get that shimmer. You can tap here to get this one. So this is larger, this one here. And we'll just go ahead and select the larger one. It's easier to see. You can see the shimmers down there. And if we wanted to make it more apparent, we can add brightness to it, so you can see it a little bit better. If we didn't want it to be affecting the stone, we could just pull it down. We can zoom in and out of them as well, so we can make it smaller like this. Kind of play like that. We can go across a little bit and change the colors. So if we wanted it to be more yellowy like the ducks, you can do that as well. All the same features are available, but this is going to add that shimmer look to your photo. Now below Shimmers, we have Legacy. Now if we tap on Legacy here, you'll see these 5 effects. And again, you can add these in and use them exactly how you'd like. Now, one thing to keep in mind, when you do add these effects, you can twist them a little bit as well. So if you want to twist them manually to get the exact angle you want, you can just by using 2 fingers and kind of twisting around. So if you want it to come from the angle like this, you can do so rather than using the flip. Again, you can change the color. So if you wanted it to be more like the background, that's pretty close actually. That right there, more like the background of the stone. You can blur it even more or less, so more or less. And again, just like all the other features, you can play around with it. And once you've set it up the way you like it with your features, you can go ahead and tap up top and you'll be able to save the image to your camera roll and it'll be saved. So if we just open up our photos here, you'll see that there is our photo with the edit that we did with LD. But my suggestion to you is to use an editing application like Snapseed, the iOS app, or even some of the other applications that I'm going through within this series, and then take that photo that you've edited and bring it into LD, and then go ahead and edit that photo. Now if you hit the back button, it'll take you to a page like this, and this is where you can see everything in your camera roll, your recently added, selfies, things like that. So if you want to see even more, you can. We'll go ahead and tap camera roll once again, and we can tap on the image that we actually edited with this, and we can add some more effects to it if we wanted to add more than just one. So if we wanted lens flare as well as the Legacy add-on that we did, we can do that, and then we can save it again, add another feature. Honestly, I don't really add more than one feature when I use this application, but you can if you'd like to do that. So that is Lens Distortion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment box below. This is a free application, and again, if you missed any of the previous videos, check them out. The link is in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram for updates, and I'll see you guys in the next one.